everyone, it's SK95. Welcome back to more Pokemon LeafGreen. Last time, we managed to beat Sabrina's gym, as well as get the Marsh Badge, as well as catch some Pokemon that are new from the Cinnabar Zone, being Dratini and Slowpoke. And this time, though, we're going to be heading to a few areas that we need to take care of. First things first, there's actually one near Fuchsia City I forgot to grab. For example, first I need to put the bike on as register because, unfortunately, unlike more modern games like the DS games, you can have the bike on any of the buttons. You only have one option for your select, so it kind of sucks for me. Anyway, back in Route 15, we have to go back up to this Professor Oak's aid and actually get ourselves an item for 50 Pokemon in the Pokedex. If you have 50 Pokemon species in the Pokedex, he'll give you the experience share, which is really good to have. I recommend highly on getting this. Now, there's one more Oak aid I forgot to grab, which would also be the item in question, allowing you to basically get more money. The experience share allows you to basically get more experience for a Pokemon, even if they don't participate in the battle. Really useful to have, so I'm going to outright go back to Celadon City and get back to that Oak aid. Be right back. Back near the Oak aid over here, we just need to go up to him, talk to him with 40 Pokemon in the Pokedex, and he'll be giving us the Amulet Coin, which is great for money, and I'm going to recommend highly on getting it. Here you go, and Amulet Coin. The Amulet Coin is an item bucket. The Amulet Coin is an item to be held by Pokemon. The Pokemon appears in a winning battle, you'll earn more money. Yes, indeed. In fact, I'd highly recommend it. There's another thing for 60, but we'll get into that later. Back in Fuchsia City, it's time to actually go off and explore. First things first, we need to go and put those items on our Pokemon. So let's go all the way. Don't use, give. Thank you. The Amulet Coin is going to be going on Sparky, and technically speaking, the experience share will be going on Glimmer, because Glimmer is going to need it. There's a gym coming up later that's going to be the weakness is going to give Glimmer a huge advantage in experience. But because of this, I can't actually use Glimmer because, unfortunately, what we're coming up to is not any Pokemon, but except water types. So let's really take care of these guys. I have exercise and warm up before going out for a swim. He's not wrong. If you do not warm up or exercise, or basically do some stretches before you go swimming, you get cramps. Richard, like the battle, sends out Tentacool. Alright, Tentacool is going to be an easy fight because Tentacool is not exactly that strong, and frankly, I'm not exactly threatened by it. The unfortunate downside is the fact that we have a lot of water types, and unfortunately, I only have Sparky to deal with the water types. I could teach the Pokemon Shockwave, but at the same time, nothing except Nidoking, the Anarchy, will learn that move. And I don't have any grass-type moves I can actually learn besides, well, Giga Drain, and I can't teach it to anyone. So unfortunately, I'm kind of stuck. Normally, I would put 2 Electric-type moves on my Electric-type, but frankly honest, having 2 Electric-type moves on a Pokemon is a little bit redundant. But at the same time, I might want to switch to Shockwave. All warmed up. Alright. So, let's go and give that TM to Sparky, because while it's a redundant thing to give a no-miss move to Sparky, I need it because this is just silly. It's going to make things a little bit easier for me, especially given the fact we finally use more TMs, and Sparky can learn this, and so can Anarchy. But I really don't want to throw Anarchy out into a Water-type battle because it's a little bit too risky unless I'm going to be having to use the Rock-type moves. Thankfully, though, I have options for that, so it's not going to be too concerned. Let's get rid of Quick Attack, because while Quick Attack's been helpful, it's not exactly been doing anything right now, and frankly, it's not been doing anything after a while. Personally speaking, I don't exactly care for priority moves. In a playthrough game, if it was a competitive battle, I would care about it more. But now we have Shockwave as a move. We can actually replace Thunderbolt and actually use Shockwave instead. That way we don't spam the Thunderbolt PP. Wait, slow down. You'll have a heart attack. No? Do you think you were going in the water and have a heart attack? It's only for the older people that actually get these heart attacks. Reese, scans out Goldeen. Alright. I have a conundrum with this dang Goldeen, because Goldeens are just too numerous in this game. Like, in Cinnabar Zone, as you fully know, the 40% encounter rate for a Goldeen is ridiculous, and it's frankly stupid. You can also find Seeking at the same percentages in Super Rod, which is actually very annoying. Horsey as well, we can technically send out George because I'm going to need to get more experience for every Pokemon, and George is about to level up. Unfortunately, I don't think Cross Jump will actually knock this thing out. Cross Jump might, but I'm going to hope they're the best. There we go. Got a lot of 5 PP moves, but frankly, I can't exactly help it given the fact that Cross Jumps are a bit too useful for me. Thankfully, I'll send out Staryu next, which is actually a very decent Pokemon. I'm going to have some trouble unless I get a critical for the Friday Chop. Unfortunately, Primeape itself does not get any more fighting type moves except for one, but I do not believe I'm going to get that for a while. So, unfortunately, I'm kind of stuck with the same moveset for a while, unfortunately. Oh, that's chilly. Yes, indeed it is. Also, make sure if there's a double battle coming up, make sure you don't have a fire type in the next slot, because if you do, it's going to make things a little bit awkward. So let's actually go swimming, because we're going to actually have to go swimming. The encounters in this area are the same as it would be normally, and I got into a battle. I look at the sea, forget all the bad things that happen. Ah, the wild blue ocean. Keep looking at it. Forget everything. Pony will be completely and utterly fine. Meanwhile, use this shockwave in order to blast Horsey into blithereens. I did not mean to use Thunderbolt. Well, there he goes. I'd rather save Thunderbolt for Pokemon that's actually, you know, stronger, because level 30, a lot of these Pokemon are kind of low level. Really, you can come here as early as the Fuchsia Gym after you beat it and get Surf Access, but right now, though, I personally prefer going back to Saffron City in order to get everything else done first before everything else. It frankly is how I usually play Pokemon LeafGreen, and I frankly would rather do that as well. A lot of the battles here are all random battles, and frankly, there's not really much to talk about, given the fact that the encounters are pretty much the same. Surfing is basically the same thing as well. There are no Pokemon that you can fish up that are new, and frankly honest, I'd rather not bother. I tried diving Pokemon, but it was a no-go. You don't get the ability to dive until Emerald, which is admittedly one of the worst things. Davidson's a Goldeen. Actually, you can't even do that unless Ruby and Sapphire. And while this is a remake, you technically can get access to certain moves that are age-ends later in the future. And frankly honest, this will be actually pretty easy. Alright, that's actually pretty good. Super effective on that. Goldeen, it's gone. At least I don't have to worry about that anymore. Frankly, I don't want to deal with it. Shelter, not exactly too much of a threat. It's really just physically bulky. Not really much of a threat. I'm saying a lot of that. Same repeats a lot. But frankly, I just need to make sure we actually get paired with these Pokemon, because frankly, I did it again. This is going to get annoying, especially when it comes down to certain Pokemon like this one. Seaking is my least favorite for a reason, and I frankly do not care for it. Alright, at least that stupid Seaking's out of the way. Man, I don't like that thing. Alright, that's easy, and I will be fine now. Help! 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 Help. There's a swimmer right in front of me. I love swimming. What about you? I mean, I guess I like swimming. To be fair, though, I haven't swimmed in a while. So, Poliwag. Oh, no. What a tragedy. Technically speaking, your next line of getting to Oak's Aid and whatnot is about 60 Pokemon in Pokedex. I recommend highly on getting up to 60 Pokemon in your Pokedex before the end of the league, because you're required to do this for progression in the story. By the way, you only need to worry about post-game nonsense. It's nothing to do with regular game nonsense. So use Shockwave on Poliwhirl, which is fine and good. I just need to have another Let's Check move, because frankly, spamming Thunderbolt so much required me to go back to the healing area, and frankly, there's no way to recover PP unless you have items and berries. Level 37 at least. Good. Play Flop. Unironically enough, I could also gone back to a certain city in Celadon to actually, well, get a Pokemon. Now allow me to teach there. I can teach Starmie the move Thunderbolt by DMs. I'm looking for my brother. He just became a trainer. How old is your brother, I may wonder? Hold on, he's a little kid. It makes no sense. Lila and Lucas and Goldeen and Seaking. Well, I'm not exactly threatened. Alright, Barky and Tank, take this out of the way, and we'll be good to go. Pokemon and Gold Seaking, and then we'll be using Strength on Seaking. Shockwave will not miss. Ironically enough, in a double battle, if you have a Pokemon with Earthquake, I'd highly recommend it, because it will wipe out the opponent's Pokemon, but also hit your allies. If you have one that flies, though, it will actually be avoiding the attacks. Your attack, miss. Good job, Seaking. You wasted all that effort to miss. Strength will at least do a good amount of damage. There he goes. It's gone, and out. I love that announcer in Pokemon Revolution. That's no way to treat my little brother. Do not care, didn't ask. What do you have to say? Do you have a younger brother? Hope you're teaching him all the sorts of things. No, but I have a younger sister. Maybe it says it's strong and nice. I think she's awesome. And I said it twice. Well, there is a lot of trainers here. I really don't want to waste my time with it, and the only Pokemon you can encounter is Tentacle, and I really don't care. They can make it appear as low as 5, which is one of the worst levels you can encounter them on. The highest they can be encountered, though, is 40, which is actually one of the highest encounter rates. Unfortunately, they only exist here and nowhere else. Oh no, one level up. Whatever shall I accomplish? Not even Shockwave will be able to give me experience for this. Alright, let's keep going on to Route 20. Route 20 doesn't have anything, and frankly, unlike more different games that have a lot more sea life, this area is going to be easy. Also, a little shower here. There are many people swimming. I try to fight all the trainers, yes, but at the same time, I will cut out those battles because there's not exactly a point to show off the random battles, especially ones that are really not exactly needed in the slightest. You're only going to be encountering... Really? Protect? Of course Sheldon knows Protect. At least I wasted Shockwave on this and not that. Get out of here. Turn 1 Protect. Really? You knew you were outclassed. You just wanted to waste my PP. Of course. Of course. Of course. Get out of here, you stupid Shelter. At least that's a level up for Sparky, at least. Alright, that's good. And more experience and more experience. Oh no. That may be a problem. Oyster. Water Ice type. High physical defense. If I try to do a physical attack, it's basically going to do squats. But if I use a special attack, though, it crumbles immediately. Because there's no special water type until... Actually, I believe the only special water type that exists is, unironically enough, Pokemon Tentacle. Because Tentacle's special defense stat is actually existing. Splash. You didn't use Splash. You missed. You did no damage. Again, and again, and again. Well, unironically enough, if you keep looping the tentacles, you could eventually find a shiny tentacle, but I highly doubt that because the luck is bad. For those who don't know, shiny odds are a 1 in 8,192 chance. Seafoam is quite a getaway. I'm vacationing here. I see. Oh, I see. Surely, this surely isn't a problem. Haha! Alright, that's it. This is getting silly. Let's just use Shockwave on you. I'll cut out all the other trainers because, frankly, I don't want to waste my time. And unless they have a funny name and something funny happens in the battle, I won't waste my time. I'd rather not waste all Sparky's PP, though, because, unfortunately, Sparky's the only thing that can actually hit these dang water types of super effective hits. So let's go with Tank. Normally, I would go to Anarchy if I have a lot of trainer battles and just use Thrashel over and over again, but I cannot risk it getting hit by a water type move. It's just something I prefer. You're faster than a dang... No wonder. Twister has a chance to flinch, so I'm a little more concerned about that, but thankfully, though, that was a critical hit and wiped it out in one shot. Really not too threatened in the slightest. Alright, another Seadra, which is not exactly a threat. You know what? Because you annoyed me, and because of the fact that you're a Seadra, because I don't have access to Seadra, I'm gonna blast you with a Hyper Beam. Oh no. I'm gonna miss, aren't I? No, I was trying to be funny. Oh, never mind. Lasers! Laser. Well, that laser was easy. I have to be completely obliterated Seadra. It's a lot of experience for Tank, at least. Somewhere surely has been defeated. Quit it! Oh. Ironically enough, the only move I have is high PP is probably the other move. Now, there's an island over here, and this person over here, Strong Trainers and Wimplemore are common sights in these parts. They say Misty is really in Gym trains here. Yes, she does. Cannot go anywhere except the Seafoam Islands. The Seafoam Islands is the main area next. I'll cut this battle up because it's a waste of time. All it was a Seadra who managed to use Flail on me, seeking that managed to use Flail on me, and it hurt. That's pretty much all it did to me. There are hidden items around here, so I'm going to go and use a potion to heal up the HP I lost thanks to that dang Flail. Ironically enough, it didn't do enough damage to actually hurt Sparky all that much. Alright, let's just use that, get the potion back up, and we're good. Alright, next up though, I would like to actually have my item finder equipped to me as my register right now, because I think there's hidden items here. No response. Nope, no response. No, no response. I'm concerned. There should be a response. Respawn, dang it. Well, let's go in there now, finally. Now, I'm probably going to be using a different Pokemon here. I'm going to be using George more because, frankly, Sparky's PP is low, and I really don't want to waste the PP. For the next area, the Seafoam Islands. Unit Cavern is home to several Pokemon. However, I'm only on the bottom floor, so I'm going to talk about the Pokemon we have access to. I should use Repel. You know what? This is funny to talk about because, as you know, I talked about the Slowpoke being findable by fishing by 4% of the rate. Slowpoke can be found here in 55% of the rate, so if you wanted to find it easier, you can just go here and you can find it instantaneously. The opposite is also true for the other version. So you can find Psyduck here even earlier. Really, it just depends on if you want to find it faster or slower. It really doesn't matter what you do. throw a repel up because I frankly don't want to waste any time with this. There are boulders here which you need to use strength for. So let's actually use strength on these boulders to push them in the holes. You want to push these downward immediately as soon as you get it. If you don't come here with strength, you cannot do this. Now back to the other one because I forgot about that one. Technically speaking, you can fall down those holes at any point that you want. There's no change. And if you also have strength on and didn't change floors, the strength effect will continue. We'll drop down this hole first. We'll drop down there, and then we'll get strength again and push this one down all the way to the bottom. Alright, good. Let's just push this down. There we go. Another item up here, I believe, which should be a revive. Really good, considering you revive half your HP. There are a lot of items around this area, but I will say outright there's probably some other thing. Go up another floor and go back to that other hole, because we want to get the other holes done first before we get to the next one. And we're one-step encounter. Really, really game. Really, really funny. Really dang funny game. I run out of repel, turn around to fall down the hole, only to get a dang Zubat hit. Really? 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 I'm so sick and tired of that. Unfortunately, I don't have exactly as many repels as I'd like, but potato. I really don't care if I run into random encounters because I can cut them out whenever I want. So let's just use strength over here and we'll be good. Fall in the hole. And there's another hole. Let's go and push this all the way down with the other hole because we gotta have to. You're gonna need to do this because there's a puzzle here. But there are Pokemon here that are new. One being, well, a rare encounter with a Pokemon known as Seal. Seal is an interesting Pokemon. It is a completely water type, and it can evolve into a water-ice type. Which is decently okay, I guess, but it's not exactly something to write home about. If you go in the other pathway, you're gonna have to go around the long way to go all the way back up. Because, unfortunately, I have to go through this one and go up first. Because while I do want to do that next, there are puzzles I really need to take care of first before anything else. The rapids will take you to any location, and you can't control it. If you do not do this, you're kind of stuck. So let's make sure there's no way that the water is going to hit us and actually push us down. Now, what you may be thinking, can't push this one. No, you cannot. In fact, you can only push it left or right. There's no point in hitting that. What you want to do instead is push this up, push this down, push this left, and then wait, go up left, and then push this away. Then you want to push this over to this way, and then finally push it down. Both areas are now there, and that will actually block up the water flow. Really good to do, and the repel effect wore off again. I miss the modern games where you can just, if you run out of repel effects wore off, it's just going to immediately activate again. Really, I would like that to happen. Whatever. Big Pearl sells for a lot of money. You can find these in Cloister, but really, I'm not too concerned. There is another hole. Let's go down that hole because we're going to have to. So, hole we go. And then we need to block off the water flow. So let's go here and push this one down to the right. Alright, let's see. Let's push this down. Okay, yes. Alright, that's all that she wrote, and there should be nothing here. The items in the Seafoam Islands are kind of short in supply. Thankfully, though, it's not exactly too concerned. There's an item over here that we need to grab. Unfortunately, I can't exactly reach it. I believe it's the stairwell that leads over here. Yes, it is. Go this way, grab this item, which contains a water stone. Really good, because you can evolve a Pokemon that needs a water stone to a water type Pokemon evolution. Like Starmie, for example, or say a different other Pokemon that needs it. Like say Vaporeon needs it if you want to evolve Eevee right now. So interrupting past me for a second, because I literally completely forgot to talk about the Pokemon Seal, because I completely got into a tangent like, oh, these areas entirely puzzle-wise. Seal is a very generic water type with painfully average stats across the board. It doesn't really evolve very early either, and it frankly is not exactly a good one. You want my advice for the Pokemon later in the future that is actually better, because it doesn't evolve by stone, it evolves by level 34, which is decently long and does not have hydration yet, which, to be honest, hydration is a very good ability, and I really wish you'd have it. Unfortunately, though, Seal is painfully average, and you already have a Pokemon that's better, known as Lapras. So by this point, you probably have something better. The other Pokemon you can find also, it's a evolved form, Dewgong. Dewgong is a bit more bulky than Seal, but it's also a water-ice type, which makes it a bit more usable. It's also special defensive-oriented. If you're playing the original games, though, it has a decent special stat, but admittedly, it's not exactly still the best thing in the world. It is just generally not a good choice if we want to pick a Pokemon that's actually good. Ironically enough, it's the only Pokemon that learns Signal Beam by Move Relearner, which is admittedly a fun thing because it makes it have a super effective move against Psychic types, which is admittedly one of the best things about it. But besides that, the best thing you can really do for this Pokemon is HM Slaving, because it can learn 3 other Water-type moves. And frankly honest, you're better off doing that because it's a waste of time to use any other Pokemon for that typing. You can also find Golbat here, but we already talked about Golbat. You can find Golduck here, which is just still painfully average Water type, generic stats across the board. We talked about Psyduck, this is more of the same, just stronger. And you can also find Slowbro at a rare encounter rate in LeafGreen. Fire Red players get Golduck. LeafGreen players get Slowbro. Slowbro is a bulky water psychic type and actually is a very good Pokemon if you really want a Pokemon that can, well, take hits better when it comes to physical side, because the only moves that really hit it hard in physical side is Ghost. But if it's going to another evolution type, you might want to see if you want to go for Slowking it later in the future. There are a water spot right here if I can just surf on it and not get encounters again. Technically speaking, I can actually use a Super Rod right now if I wanted to. So yeah, that's how water works if you try to push all against it. I'm going to use my Super Rod because there are Pokemon I want to catch for the Pokedex and I need to catch them with a Super Rod. You can also find Gyarados here, but Seal is the only one I can really find here. There are no other water ice types in this area besides that Pokemon. Jinx does not exist here either, which is admittedly confusing. The only time you can get a Jinx is at trade in Cerulean City, which is one of the weirdest things I ever encountered in this game, because you can find those Pokemon very commonly in Johto very easily, the pre-evolution at least, which is pretty easy. Although, finding Krabby, not exactly happy about that. Alright, whatever, let's just take care of this and switch out to a different Pokemon because we're gonna need to. What we're going to be encountering is gonna be exhausting on your resources, and I frankly will say outright, unless you have something that can actually hit it around a lot, you're gonna be wasting a lot of your resources. Let's go and surf here. And reach something quite rare. Pokemon. That is a bird. You want to save your game right here. Just for warning. Because if you do this now, you will never be able to encounter get it now. You will never encounter it again. So I'll cut the head to saving. Alright, it's finally time to take on this burb. Articuno is a very good special wall in this game. It is one of the 3 legendary birds and possibly one of the best ice burbs in the game. A lot of good moves as well to back it up, especially given its high special stats, high good speed, and it also is coming with the ice flying type alongside it. Ice flying normally is not exactly a good typing, but Articuno makes it work effectively. It's not until later games it gets access to moves like Freeze Dry and whatnot, but it's also really good to have. It's also a Pokemon that can even learn that TM that you got from Misty, known as Water Pulse. A very good water type move to help against its weaknesses of rock types and fire types, because unfortunately, this thing's quad weak to rock. It's also a very good Pokemon if you want to use the combo of Mind Meter plus Sheer Cold when it reaches its final level up, allowing it to do one-hit KOs like no one's business for a while. Now, all legendary Pokemon always have a 3 catch rate out of a 255, so it's unfortunate, but at the same time, this is not the more modern games where it's giving you free handouts anymore. Alright, it's time to try to catch this thing. Let's use Light Screen first in order to build up our special defense, because Articuno's only special attack is Ice Beam, which is admittedly scary because that thing has a chance to freeze, and if this is the original game, oh, I'd be massively screwed. It also comes with the ability Pressure, but Pressure is more or less a throwaway ability for most legendary Pokemon. All it does is raise the PP use. For low PP moves in the early games, though, I'll say it's very unmanageable because it's very, very painful. Also, we got Ice Beam. Well, there I go, again. Thankfully, though, our Light Screen actually saved us a lot, although it seems like Articuno is not exactly as especially offensive as we may appear. Though, I kind of wish I was Paralysis it, but at the same time, I'd rather switch to Tanks so we can actually take some hits. Tanks are a better method of making sure we take less hits, because Special Bulk is Tank's main strategy. And it has a high HP pool, it's actually pretty good. Despite being like, what, 12 levels lower? And it's using Mist. Yeah, we've seen all the moves it has. It has the moves Agility, Ice Beam, Mist, and Mind Reader. Yeah, Mist is a kind of a throwaway ability where it prevents status changes, so if you kind of lowered its special stats or anything like that, it will get rid of it entirely. Let's try chucking balls at it, because that's the main strategy for legendary Pokemon. Go Pokeball! 1, 2, oh. Well, there goes Agility again. I've had this happen previously where Articuno will spam Agility to no tomorrow, max out the Agility, and then start struggling over and over again. Let's try Pokeball again. That's not sleep. Come on, Articuno. Ah. I'm guaranteed at least a sleep, but this is sucky. A nice strategy if you had picked up a Cypher, if you're playing Fire Red version, is to use False Swipe. Ah. False Swipe basically makes sure the whatever hit that you use on it is never going to kill it or knock it out. Really, a False Swipe is a really good move, and it's actually good for catching Pokemon. Ah. That's 3 times of Great Ball flopping. How in the world did the Pokeball not flop and that the Great Ball does? Do not waste your Master Ball on legendary birds. Trust me on this. You want to save that for one particular Pokemon. Ah, come on. Okay, so a Pokeball shakes, but both of the higher catch rate Pokeballs fail at it. Really? We don't have many options when it comes to Pokeballs in this game, so I have no choice but to risk these balls. 1, 2. Oh. Well, I woke up. And it's ice me. Well, there I go again. Well, that sucks. Oh no, I've been frozen today. Well, at least Tank gets the heal from leftovers. That's at least a plus. Yawn? Oh, there it goes, Mist again. Freeze has a chance no matter every single turn to actually thaw out in this game, so, or kind of throws in solid. I'm trying to get Yawn off it because having it asleep is a lot better than having it paralyzed. Paralysis cuts the speed in half no matter what and has a chance of stopping its movements, but I prefer Sleep because it will stop its movement outright and guarantee it. Unfortunately, Tank's been 2 turns frozen, and frozen status is a odd calculation when it comes to being frozen for a while or not. So yeah, and it's using Mind Reader twice. You want to guarantee Mind Reader actually working. Do not worry, Articuno. You clearly understand what you're doing. Dang Iceberg. In terms of design for Legendary Birds, I say Articuno is probably the most unique and nice looking one. Honestly, for people who want to draw this Legendary Bird, it's actually the easiest of the 3, because its design is just spread out all the time. Really, it just depends on what you want for Articuno, but in personal opinions, later games, Articuno does get access to a lot of better Ice-type moves, such as Freeze Dry, which is insanely good against water types. I've been frozen for 4 turns! Get me out of this! I haven't chucked a single ball at you because I know I'm frozen. The fact that Leftovers has been restoring my HP pretty much every single turn, and I still have yet to hit you for sleep again, is irritating. Tank, get broke out of this already. Tank, come on, buddy. I've been stuck frozen for 5 turns. Really? I know fully well if I try a different move, it's going to use Nose Laser and it'll be obliterated. There we go. Go to sleep already. Dang Articuno. Of all the legendary birds, it's giving me most trouble in the world. Thankfully, though, the other legendary birds only have other stats conditions that are less annoying. I can handle being paralyzed and handle being burned. I just can't handle being frozen today. Alright, let's try that again. Here we go again. And now you're asleep again. Unironically enough, I kind of wish I had Quick Attack because I know fully well it's how weak it is, but at the same time, I'd rather not risk Sparky knocking this out. Plus, having 2 Electric-type moves on Electric-type Pokemon are actually very good, so let's try this again. Ugh! How many times will it not shake even once? I forgot how much I hated the dang catch rates of legendary Pokemon in this game. You know, I'm really jealous of how the new people always do it, too. I shouldn't pay attention. I'm really jealous at the fact that the older games are very harsh with catching those Pokemon, but then you get Black and White, your Zekrom and Reshiram are basically like a 45 catch rate. That's easy, and you're guaranteed to get it. Not only that, the other game's giving you free handouts. Like, oh, here, Scorodon and Miraidon. Your legendary Pokemon, you have them now no matter what. Ha 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 ha! And yet they're broken. Back in my day, these were hard. 1, 2, 3. Finally! Articuno was caught. And matched the Pokeball as well. Great ball. Articuno saves added to the Pokedex. A legendary bird Pokemon that is said to appear to doom people who are lost in the icy mountains. What a nice bird. I'm still calling it this name, though. Am I mature? No. Ice Bird was transferred to the PC. I couldn't resist, I'm sorry. I might as well mention the one Pokemon I forgot to talk about in this area because we were about to leave it. I might as well talk about it. You can also find the evolved form of Seal and Slowpoke here as well. You can also find Golbat, but Golbat I've already seen before. We've already seen Zubat's bio. Really, it's just more of the same. You can't evolve it to Crobat yet because Crobat does not exist until after you get the Pokédex to National Dex. I am not kidding. You're kind of stuck with that. Let's try going this way, and then going this way, and then Single Blade. There we go. And in the water we go. Alright, we go this way, and then we go this way, we can leave. Thankfully, we're done with that, and we can actually leave the Seafoam Islands. There's a trainer here, and I thought there was a hidden item around here, but there's not. And why am I fishing? What is wrong with me? Well, there I go again. That was complete another action. I thought I had the item finder on myself, but I guess I forgot. There we go. Now, let's actually go and leave. We can want to leave to go to Seafoam Islands. You need to go through Seafoam Islands in this game. Later games, you can actually skip past Seafoam Islands entirely. So there's actually... Oh, no, Repel Fog wore off. That means one thing. And this is probably a band, Sam, because I'm likely going to be fighting somebody who has a band. Alright, let's just go and fight you. I wrote my bird Pokemon here. I should have picked Sparky. Darn it. Then again, to be fair, Sparky's PP on Thunderbolt was probably really low. Roger would like the battle. Roger. Who killed Roger Rabbit? We've all seen that at one point. Come on, guys. I know fully well you've all seen it once. I'm halfway tempted to teach Glimmer Ice Beam. Not Ice Beam. Bleh, what is my saying? I'm halfway tempted to teach Glimmer the ability to move Thunderbolt once I find another TM for it back in the game corner. But at the same time, giving it 2 moves to basically do super effective damage on a Pokemon that are flying types is a little bit redundant. Plus, the only thing it would do beneficial for Glimmer is give an option against water types, but really, whatever. If the Pokemon has an experience share, they'll gain more experience as well, but besides that, I'm not exactly too concerned. Pidgeotto, okay, whatever. Let's use Anarchy, because Anarchy has not had a time to shine at all because of all this water. What are you waiting for? Ironically enough, Glimmer's going to be doing all the heavy lifting for the next 2 gyms because a lot of the gym leaders are a little bit easy for that typing. Anarchy gained some experience. Birdkeeper Roger's been defeated. Oh no! Now what am I to do? That's a good question. Ask yourself later. And more Pokemon trainers. Okay, future me, you know what to do because I don't want to waste my time getting all the way over there and wasting my time with this. Cut me out! Well, that was an easy fight and pointless. Nothing here. Whoa, I just realized something. Why the heck do I have Glimmer in the front when I know fully well the Glimmer is not exactly a good idea, especially in more to Pokemon areas. Let's have Tank out because Sparky's PP on both their moves are kind of bad. Bollocks. Well, regular Tentacle again. Ironically enough, level 26, but potato. I'm too slow to a Tentacle. I am slower than a Tentacle 2 levels below me. I repeat, I am slower than something 12 levels below me. Unironically enough, if I hadn't had Anarchy, I technically would take Tentacle because it's my best option for Pokemon that's also water and poison type, and actually early on you can get it. As soon as you get Strength, you can actually catch this thing, but at the same time, Critical Hit one-shots everything. Of course, Tank one-shots it when I don't want it to one-shot it this time. I'm trying to fight you. Nope, no response. Alright, that's it. I'm not dealing with those stupid tentacles anymore. I'm gonna repel them all. Repel them all! Stranger danger, get them away from me! At least now we'll be able to be fine and dandy. Check out my buff physique. Yeah, 1s and 5s. And Dean sent us Staryu. Really? Well, I am slower than you. I know fully well that's gonna happen. You stinking idiots. Camouflage doesn't work. Camouflage would have worked if it was on a different surface, but it's water type, so camouflage would fail no matter what on a water surface because it's a water type. Wimpy. Yes, you are very wimpy. Well, what do we have here? Well, what do we have here? There's an item. And the item is very close by me. A Stardust. Good, more money. Alright, let's go get some more money. You know all the money in the world, but especially given the fact that I wasted a lot of Pokeballs trying to catch that dang Articuno. I swam here from Cinnabar Island. It wasn't easy, I tell you. You're not in a swimsuit, so your entire clothes probably are soaked, kid. I'm so sorry, Missy. Miss Shadow Ball. Ow. That kind of tickled. Ironically enough, if I had a round that... Man, really? It'd be enough HP to actually catch one, but I really don't want to waste my time. Strength. Oh, no. 2, 3. Okay, 3. That Golding is out of the way, at least. Almost. I can almost taste it. You know what, Sea King? You know what? Because I'm still better at you for constantly showing up when I was trying to catch a Dratini, and especially Dragonair. You know what? Get lasered. That's the lowest power of Flail. Fire my laser! Lasers. Laser. Okay. That's actually pretty good, all things considered. And level up 39. Very good. And going to get a lot of experience. Well, Missy. I'm so disappointed. Yes, you are. Very disappointed. We're ashamed and offended. Pokemon have taken over the abandoned cell mansion in Cinnabar. They call it the Pokemon Mansion now. Interesting. Well, you might as well check it out when we get there. Alright, so let's keep going left and more trainers in this order. So, now, skip. Cinnabar in the west has a lab for Pokemon. My daddy works there. All they had was 2 Pokemon, and a Sea King. Really annoying. We're on Cinnabar Island, finally. However, I think we're gonna end this off right here. Next time on Pokemon LeafGreen, we will be exploring Cinnabar Island and seeing what it holds. See you all next time.